Hey everyone, thanks for joining Learn to Play Games. My name is Lance, and in today's video I'm looking at a brand new game coming to Kickstarter called Expedition to Zanthalar. This is a new game by Zanthalar Games. It is a 2 to 6 player game that takes roughly 20 to 60 minutes to play, and is a competitive game where players are competing with each other to be the first to have 10 expedition points. In the game itself, each player will get to select a class that will give them special abilities throughout the game, and then they're going to take their turn, and this is going to continue going from player to player in a clockwise manner until one of the players has 10 expedition points. In this video, I'm going to show you the main features of the game and also show you an example turn to give you a good idea how this one plays. If you find these videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine so we can continue to grow and build and produce this content. I also want to point out before moving on that all the materials you see here are prototype materials and are subject to change and will look a lot better in the final production, including a lot of the artwork. A lot of the cards in this that I'm going to be showing you are not final and are just placeholder art. So please keep that in mind as you watch. All of the art that I showed you, or I'm going to be showing you in the different card types that are going to be used in the game are more or less the official artwork, but the cards that I'm going to show you in the example turn are going to be more of the placeholder art. So just keep that in mind as you watch that this is still a work in progress. So let's go ahead and head to the table and we'll see what this one's all about. First, I want to start by looking at the different decks of cards that are going to be used in Expedition to Zanthalar. There are 7 different decks, and the first one I'll look at are the class cards. So at the beginning of the game, during setup, each of the players is going to get to select one of the class cards that they would like to play as. Each one of these will give the player a specific bonus that they can use throughout the game. For example, with the Prophet, if you would draw and play an event card, you may look at the top 2 event cards of the event deck and put one of them on the bottom of that deck, and then you're obviously resolving the other one. With the Bard, he gets to gain 30 gold at the beginning of his turn instead of 20, and then 40 gold at the end of his turn if he chooses to barter instead of 30, so he'll get a little bit of extra gold during each of his turns. And each one of the classes works a little bit differently. Event cards will be drawn during the action phase if you choose not to play a trade or treasure card, and these can be both good or bad. For example, with the Bear Attack, this one is going to have you discard 2 cards. Or with the Long Journey, this one allows you to complete all of the quests you have in control, which could be very beneficial if you have some difficult quests, requirements for those quests to complete. So both good and bad effects for these. At the beginning of each player's turn, you're going to draw a quest card, and these are going to provide players with an additional way to gain golds. In order to do this, they must complete the task on the card. And these are going to have a variety of different effects. And when you do, you'll receive the reward and then discard that quest card. For example, with That Was Easy, the task on that one is to end your turn, which you're going to do at the end of your turn anyways, in which case at that point, you're going to discard this card and gain 40 gold. With High Roller, this one is going to have the task of you rolling a d6 due to another card's effect. When that happens, you'll receive 50 gold for it. Other cards are going to be a little more challenging, such as the Wandering Nomad. With this one, you have to have at least 3 destinations in your area. When you do, you'll receive 120 gold. So that one's going to happen a little bit later in the game, potentially. Each player can have a maximum of 3 quests at any time, and if you happen to draw another quest, you'll choose one of your quests to discard. There are also 4 different cards that players will be able to purchase during the spending phase, and each one of these is going to have a cost in gold that is going to be listed on the card. For the first card we're looking at, these are destination cards, and these are going to cost you 80 gold. With these cards, they are going to be, once purchased, placed in front of you, and you can have a maximum of 3 destination cards at any time. Each one of these is going to give you some sort of powerful effect. For example, with the Gladiators Arena, this one will allow you to have 2 action phases. Or with the Watchtower, this one will allow you to look at any player's hand and the top card of any deck at any time. So very powerful effects, but they do have a fair cost to them. Treasure cards are going to cost you 30 gold, and during your action phase, you can choose to play one treasure card you have in your hand. These are going to give you all kinds of different effects, such as gaining more gold, expedition points, and all kinds of other benefits. For example, if we look at the Historic Scepter here, this is going to we're going to gain 1 expedition point, and then we also are going to have to trigger an event, so we'll have to reveal and resolve an event card. With the Ancient Map, this one will allow us to play a destination card, which is very powerful. So each one of these is going to provide some sort of benefit to the player when they play it. Reaction cards are going to cost you 20 golds, and these are going to be triggered by different effects and are more defensive cards or cards that allow you to backstab your opponents. Each one of these cards will have different effects and different ways of triggering it. For example, with Illusory Distraction, the trigger for this one is another player plays a treasure card. When that player does, you could choose to play this card as a reaction and gain control of that treasure card. Or Safe Passage, which is going to be triggered when another player plays a reaction card on your turn. When this happens, you can play this card, and this will allow you to cancel that card's effect, and no one but you can play cards for the rest of your turn, so that'll protect you from any other reaction cards that players can play. Finally, with Transmutation, this one is going to have a trigger when a player plays a treasure card or a trade card. When that happens, you can choose to play this card, and again, then you can replace the effect of that card with the top card's effect from the same deck. So you'll draw and reveal a new card, replacing it, changing it over so a person has a plan that has just been thwarted by another card potentially, or might be more beneficial, depends. But reaction cards are a lot of fun and a good way to stop your opponent's plans in its track. In the last deck of cards are the trade cards. These will cost you 10 gold, and again, you'll be able to play one of these during your action phase if you choose to. You'll be able to play either one of these or one of the treasure cards. Or if you don't want to play any of those, then you could, of course, draw an event card. And I'll cover that more later. But each one of these will have a cost on top of the cost you pay for the card. So when you choose to play that card, you must pay the card's cost, and then you'll get to place that card in your area and gain the benefits of it or resolve the effects of it. For example, with the Shroud of Shadows, this one's going to cost you 120 gold, so it's a steep cost, but other players can no longer target you with card effects, so very powerful. On the other side, we have the Fiery Sword, and this one's going to cost only 10 gold to activate, and this will allow you to roll a d6. If you roll a 4 through 6, you're going to gain 3 expedition points. Wow! Or if you roll a 1 through 3, you're going to lose 3 expedition points. So this one is very handy if you get it early in the game, but a little bit more risky later in the game. All right, so the last thing I want to do is take you through a few example turns so you have a good idea how this one plays. So I did go ahead and play a few rounds, so we're kind of about middle of the game at this point. So some of our players are doing a little bit better than others, with our player over here having 2 expedition points and our player over here having 4. So from there, we're going to move into our player's turn in front of me. So during a player's turn, it's broken down into 4 steps that are going to be done in order. The first step in each player's turn is going to be starting their turn, where they're going to gain 20 golds, and they're also going to reveal a new quest. So I'm going to go ahead and flip over a new quest. And I have Thrill Seeker. This one is going to have me play an event card 2 turns in a row, and if I do that, then I'm going to get 70 gold as a reward. All right, so now I have my second quest, and then from there, I'm going to move on to the spending phase. So during this phase, I get to spend, or I can choose to spend my gold to purchase a variety of different cards, which there are 4 different cards I can purchase. So let's go ahead and start by purchasing a destination. So that's going to cost me 80 gold. So I'm going to go ahead and put those back in and reveal a destination. So this is the Gladiators Arena. I can take 2 action phases with this one, so that'll be handy to have. And that will also complete a quest where I acquire a destination. So I'm going to go ahead and trade this in, and I'll get 60 gold for that. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, and then I can go ahead and buy some more stuff. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and buy a treasure card for 30. And I will also buy, I think I'm going to buy an expedition point. So that's going to be 50 gold. And that'll give me 5 expedition points. Now, another important thing to point out is the other player during the turn can play reaction cards. So let me make sure I don't have anything here to show off. So let's see here. Nope, not currently. All right, so from there, then it's going to continue on with my turn. I have 60 gold left. Do I want to buy anything else at this point? I think I'll buy a... Okay, let's see. All right, I think that's all of the stuff that I want to buy. So at this point, it's going to move into the third step of your turn, which is the action phase. During this phase, you can choose to either play a trade card, a treasure card, or you can draw and resolve a event card. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play a treasure card. So I'm going to go ahead and play Collector's Bag. So if a player has 6 or more cards in hand, I'm going to gain 2 expedition points. So my opponent does have 6 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to go ahead and gain 2 more. That puts me up to 7. Now in that process, my opponent is going to play Gimme That. So this is a reaction card. It triggers on another player place a card from their hand, which I did. So this is going to add that card to your hand. So I'm going to go ahead and discard this, but then I do get the Collector's Bag into my hand now. So that'll possibly help my player out a little bit later on. All right, then that is my action phase, is I can only choose to play one of those cards. So then it's going to move into the bartering phase. During this phase, I can choose to discard one of the cards in my hand to gain 30 gold. And let's see. I think I will go ahead and discard. I'm going to go ahead and discard this one and gain 30 golds. All right, so that is the end of my turn, and it'll move into my opponent's turn. So during my opponent's turn, again, he's going to gain 20 golds. And I do have Thief, which is his class. So he actually gains a treasure card because I played the expedition card. So I'm going to go ahead and give him one of those for that. And then he's going to draw a new quest. So with this one, I have no golds, and you'll get 40 gold as a reward. Okay, all right, and then he's going to move into his turn for his spending phase, if he wants to spend anything. Ooh, let's see. I think I am good there. So I think I'm not going to, well, I will. So I'm going to go ahead and spend the 10 to get a trade card. And then I will spend the 50 to get an expedition point. So that brings me up to 3. That will complete this quest for not having any golds. So I'm going to get 40 gold for that. And I think that'll be it for my spending phase. So my action phase, I am going to play a card. And I'm going to go ahead and play the Collector's Bag. So again, if a player has 6 or more cards in hand, I gain 2 expedition points, and I myself have more than 6 cards. So I'm going to go ahead and play that to get 2 more. So that'll put me up to 5. So now I'm not quite as far away from my opponent as I was before. And then the bartering phase. So again, I can choose to discard a card. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one there, and that's going to give me 30 golds. And then I also have a destination that is at the end of my turn, allows me to draw a reaction card and add it to my hands. So that will definitely help. Okay, and that'll be it. All right, so at this point, then it's going to continue going back and forth with my players, continuing try to push to 10. Now, there is one important thing with the expedition points is when you are at 9, you cannot choose to purchase that 10th point. You must gain it through a card or other effect. So that way, then you can't just buy your way to victory. So other than that, this is the game. Please let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions, and I hope you found this video helpful in deciding whether or not this is one you want to back on Kickstarter. Also, if you have any questions or comments, post those and I'll do my best to answer them, or swing by the Kickstarter's main page and drop any questions you have there as well. I'm sure the creators would love to hear from you. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have. Until next time, I'll see you later.